Hi everyone, welcome to Planning Plus Software. Today we're coming to you from Mainline Autobody, located in Santa Maria, about a 2.5 hour drive north of Los Angeles. Today we're going to interview a gentleman by the name of Clive. Now Clive is a relative newbie within the auto collision repair industry, so we're going to put him under the microscope and just find out about this transition, how he's managing it, what his role is here at Mainline Autobody, and what he thinks the future holds for Mainline Autobody and the collision repair industry. So let's go and get Clive, fire up that microscope and put him under it. So here's the man, Clive. Welcome to Planning Plus Software.
Thanks for having me, Gavin.
Clive, could you just tell us a little bit about your background, because I find it absolutely intriguing.
Yeah, it's somewhat different. Here I am, almost 50 years old, and I've been in the autobody industry probably the sum total of 18 months.
18 months.
So I left school and worked in construction industry, so always very hands-on and very practical. And then my love for music took me down the road of wanting to be a rock star. And I can show you some great photos of 80s hair metal and all that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to be the next Bon Jovi or Metallica. Turns out that it's not that easy. The music industry at that time became little about music and more about how many calendars you can sell. Take that, and boy bands and girl bands and all that sort of stuff. So musicianship became very much secondary. So we decided we were going to not so much fight that fight, but try to earn a living, still play music. So we just became a corporate band, function band, so we could put food on the table playing music. So for 20 years, that's what I did.
And what led you to going from music to metal? I just find it absolutely intriguing. We've gone from music to metal. It's just it just goes together. So
yeah.
What led you into the auto body industry?
Probably the biggest fluke in history, actually. It blows my mind every time I reflect on it and think, what if? And the what if is, when I was active as a musician, I used a particular piece of equipment called a fractal audio Axifex.
There you go, a fractal audio Axifex.
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 That's easy for you to say. And turns out that the owner of Mainline Autobody, Joe Hinkins, is also a part-time enthusiastic musician in a band, and he used the same piece of equipment. And we were on a user forum, and there was a thread running that the theme of that was put up a photograph of your piece of equipment on stage, in a bar, in a studio, wherever it may be, and just share it. So I did, and one day Joe happened to be scrolled past the photograph of our stage set, our corporate stage set sort of thing, everything neat and tidy and symmetrical, no clutter, no mess, no fuss. And Joe went, hang on a minute, what's going on there? And that started a series of messages and emails, how are you doing this, how are you doing that? And one day I was writing a very long email, really in depth, all the technical, how we do, what we do. And towards the end I thought, you know what, it'd be so much easier if I was with this guy and his equipment and his guys in his band, but he's on the other side of the world, so that's never going to happen. So I never said anything. Sent the email. A couple of hours later, Joe responded with, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but if I flew you to California, would you show me how you do what you do? And I said, sure, when do you want me? And a few weeks later I was there. And we just became great friends right off the bat. And the rest is now 7 years of history, whereby
7 years of history, wow.
Come backwards and forwards a few times to get involved in different projects here at Mainline. Some of them construction projects, some of them software implementation. And I just loved it more and more each time. And it got to the point 18 months ago where Joe and I worked on a whole new software system to manage our administrative processes. And we worked through that, worked great. Joe and I have always worked great as a team. Joe's always been very reluctant to hire me full-time. He didn't want to change that employee dynamic from the friendship that we enjoy. So eventually it got to the point where he just sort of caved. And I said, you know what, you're still Joe and I'm still Clive. And so we're making it work. We're making it work.
That's awesome. Now, what's your main role here at Mainline?
So my main role, I am head of administration. which sounds awfully important, but I'm just another spoke in the wheel, really. So I have that title. It's not so much a title. What we have here at Mainline, we have roles and responsibilities. So that's what I'm responsible for, making sure we are developing sensible processes and procedures, and then just helping to get everybody to follow that. So start with the why, all the training behind it, and just develop the culture. So I'm just a team member, but that happens to be the role I sit in.
Awesome. And you've introduced a system called EOS, which stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Joe's pretty innovative here, and he's always out to try new stuff. So you've been responsible and one of the leaders here of setting all of that up and implementing it. So can you tell us just a little bit about the EOS system?
Yeah, the EOS system it wasn't my idea. It wasn't Joe's idea. It was a guy called Gino Wickman developed this system after years of being in business, running companies. He boiled it down to a simple framework where you've got 6 core components: people, process, data, traction. What else am I missing? Issues is another one. And the essence of it is the stronger you get at all these different elements, then the better you'll be as a company. And what it's done is helped us to really develop an overall vision. That was the missing component, vision. Where are we going? Where do we want to be in 10 years? And then you boil that down to 3 years, and then to 1 year, and then you bring that down even more granularly to just a 90-day. What have you got to do in the next 90 days to keep moving the ball forward to your 1-year goal, and then turn that into a 3-year picture? So you do that with the vision side. The people side, they give you some really good tools, and all it is essentially is a toolbox. It's a way of analyzing things and looking at things. You have something called the people analyzer in the people component, and people have to get what they do here, they have to want what they do here, and they have to have the capacity to do it. And if you've got people who meet that kind of criteria and represent our core values, then chances are they're going to be a really good fit for Mainline. So it's given us this whole sort of great toolbox full of tools and ways of measuring things, ways of looking at things. Just a framework is where it is for us to manage all of the core components of the day-to-day and really help understand it and develop it as a full leadership team, and take some of it off of Joe's plate, because he readily admits that Mainline outgrew him some years ago, and he's been trying to keep all the plates spinning, and it's tough to do on your own. So
yeah, absolutely. But at least he's a man that's very innovative, and he will put these systems in, and he'll try it, and he'll fail, and he'll get back up, and he'll go again. And he says another one of Joe's famous failures, but it's the energy and the passion and the commitment that he brings to the business that really inspires people to be a part of that whole message. So you also have been working on a module called Respect, and that's something that you've brought to the table. So share with our clients and the industry out there just what that Respect module is all about.
Sure, yeah. Well, again, that was built off of a book. I'm trying to remember which one it is now. It's a combination of Carrots and Sticks Don't Work and another book called On Fire at Work. They're all about employee engagement. Core principle being, if you've got a team of people who are really engaged in what they do, then you don't have to dangle a carrot to get them to do it. You don't have to hit them with a stick to get them to do it. They just want to do it. They turn up to work wanting to do it. They go the extra mile willingly without needing to be pushed. And they call that the discretionary effort. So again, I was studying these books. We do a lot of studying at Mainline, never stand still, always studying. And I just went, there's something in this. We need to embrace this. Again, to help Joe do what we do at Mainline, keep 42 people engaged, pulling in the right direction. So Respect model is R for recognition, E for empowerment, S for supportive feedback, T is an RESP, sorry, P for partnering. So you got to build partnerships with internal work teammates and external vendors and OEM relationships, all that sort of stuff. So that's RESP. E is expectations. Set the expectations. If someone doesn't know what's expected of them and they fall short, that's the leader's fault, not the employee's fault.
Yeah.
RESPEC is consideration. Just be considerate. When you see someone in the corridor, don't just see them, see their family, see the wider picture. There's a lot going on in people's lives, you know, so be considerate of that when you're approaching any kind of subject. And finally, T is the one thing that underlines the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the real core of it all, and that's trust. You have to have trusting relationships. At work, people have to come to work, feel safe in what they do, and that they have all of the other elements. They have the tools, the training, the empowerment, the recognition. Recognition is such a big part, and eventually that all builds the trust that they know they're appreciated at work, and you can trust them to take care of not only what needs to be done, but all of your guests and the company as a whole. So it's a big deal.
Awesome. I think there was a song about that, wasn't it?
There was.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And I think I can rattle that one off. You
Gotta
can
remember
probably
how to
play
spell
it.
it.
Being a muso, I'm sure you could play that one.
That's not one I've ever done. But there's time.
Wasn't in the repertoire, that one.
There's time.
The respect. That's awesome. So would I be correct in saying that Mainline is all about inclusion?
Oh, definitely. It's all about the people. It's all about the people. We want everybody here to feel like they are contributing to a bigger picture than just fixing cars.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bigger than that, you know. We want
That's
people
the
to
end product, you could say, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
byproduct of what we
Yeah.
do is we fix cars.
Of course, that's right. You know, we're in business to make money,
Yes.
but that is not the core focus. That's just a byproduct of doing a lot of stuff right. You know, that's where it is. So it's got to be a much bigger picture, the reason why. And again, it comes down to the respect model, actually, recognition and feeling appreciated, feeling what you do really contributes to the bigger picture. So, and we want everyone to feel that, and we want everyone to lead on that, and we want everybody to play their part in it. So yeah, definitely inclusion is a big deal.
Yeah, awesome. So when you started here at Mainline, you would have been introduced to Planning Plus, and you probably took a look at that and went, okay, that's interesting.
Very colourful.
Now, we're a little bit down the track, 18 months. What's your take on Planning Plus and each role that it plays here at Mainline Autobody?
Okay, well, the first and most obvious thing is it's obviously our scheduling system. So we don't know. Joe shared with me quite quickly, you know, it took 2 weeks to get the thing up and running, and then within 2 days it was, how do we ever manage without it, you know? And I've shared this with everybody on a few occasions, that when you're just repairing 1 or 2 cars, it's pretty easy to know where the car is, who's working on it, what the part status is. You change that picture every day. 12 different vehicles coming in, 12 leaving, 12 with different part status, 12 at different stages of repair. I don't know how we would have managed it before. So, you know, I wasn't there when we implemented it, but I know the impact it had at that time. So looking at it from a day-to-day basis now, it just keeps everybody on track. There's a wealth of information that's just a click away, or even a mouse hover away. So it keeps the wheels on the bus here. That's what it does.
Awesome. Great. Well, you've heard it from Joe. Now, we've heard it from Clives. Now, one last question for Clive is, can you see yourself going back to music over metal?
Go full circle, you mean? Honestly, when we were talking about wrapping up the band in England, people said, "Oh, you guys can't do it. You know, we'll miss you and you'll miss it." And I fully understood what they were getting at. But to be honest with you, Gavin, you know, 20 years of that, we did a lot of it. So I can't see myself going back to it, and I'm having way too much fun at Mainline.
Yeah.
You know, this is a big deal, and I'm trying to help build a legacy here. You know, that outlasts Joe, outlasts me. You know, it's something that makes a lasting impression. So to have the opportunity just to play a small part in that, that's really fired me up. You know, so I can't see me going anywhere anytime soon. I hope I've not played my last gig, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, there you have it. You've heard from Clive Banage. What we really pronounce his name Burnage. So,
But my mum would be pleased.
yeah, Clive's mum would be pleased. So thanks very much for that, Clive. It's been fascinating to just get your background and your entry into the auto body collision repair industry here at Mainline. You couldn't have picked a better place to come with a greater boss, and the vision and the outcomes for this place are always perpetually moving. It's always on the move. It's always changing and ever evolving and very innovative, and you're a huge part of that, and I know Joe's got some great respect for you, so thanks for joining us here at Planning Plus.
No worries, thank you. And it's nice to spend some time with someone with a funny accent.
Yeah. Cheers, Clive.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.